what I'm saying?
I call wisdom and mentors human ibuprofen, human pain relief.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. Like you said, bro, you done went through the pain already.
Already went through it.
The whole word of God is none but examples of people who done walked through pain.
Right.
Now, I would be personally a fool to do the exact same thing. And I tell the kids all the time, bro, we have the liberty to choose our choices.
Exactly.
Every person has the liberty to do
Exactly.
that. But we don't have the liberty to choose the consequences.
Right.
So your situation may not play out the same way as somebody else who made the exact same choice. They may be able to live and tell about their consequences. That may be the end for you.
Exactly.
You know?
It ain't easy being me, but I woke up shining. Pressure bust pipes, my eyes made diamonds. Tryna hide a good thing, bet ya I'll find it. Do it with my eyes closed, I ain't even trying. Making my plays, calling my shots. I'ma do me, the world gon' watch. I'm in my bag, I can tell you what I got. The money, I get it. The love, I get it. Respect, I get it. Come check, I get it. I ain't got a cap, I get it, I get it. No joke, no lie, I get it, I get it. The money, I get it. The love, I get it. Respect, I get it.
Well, man, man, I was thinking, we just experienced, the world really just experienced the death of, Kyren Lacy. And all us being from Baton Rouge, I know it hit home. And the first thing I thought about, I'm like, man, what was that dude going through? What was he dealing with internally that he probably had never talked to nobody about?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so with that, it kind of brought me to wanting to just ask, both of y'all played ball, I played ball.
Absolutely.
But we had to come to a point to where we had to decide that trajectory wasn't going to be what our life was going to be.
100%.
So I want to ask you, JT, how did you deal with that, internalizing that, and how did you overcome those emotions to say, man, the passion that I had and where I wanted to go for my life, I can't do it.
Absolutely.
Man,
I always believe anytime you build in something, like you need a foundation, right? And growing up in culture, growing up in environments that we grew up in, sometimes the shaping of our mindsets was based on our environments, based on past experiences, based on trauma, based on family backgrounds. And so if people in your family, if they may not have reached a certain pinnacle, they just gonna lead you and mold and shape you according to what they know, right? And I believe that in our society and in our environments that we grew up in, it was shaped in our minds that really only one of the two ways that we can be successful is being a professional athlete or being famous or being some type of entertainer. So my whole mindset was shaped around, my paradigm was shaped around becoming an athlete, becoming a professional athlete so I can give back to my whole entire community, take care of my family, right? So when you've grown up a decade plus with that type of mentality and that mindset, and then what you do has become your identity, then when what you do is no longer there, then what do you do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When your foundation has been built on what you do and not who you are, then when you're not doing what you wanting to do, then what do you do from there? And that happened to me at 25 years old, bro, when professional sports was taken away from me, when it was stripped away from me. And I had to realize, okay, my whole life, my foundation that I've been building my life on has been on a faulty foundation. It's been on what I can do instead of who I really am.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anybody around you that can help you navigate that, then it's very hard for you to be able to get over that hump. I mean, I'm 34 years old right now. I played 2 professional sports, and been able to scratch the surface of them. But man, I still got players who I played with in high school and in college who haven't got over that hump to where what they did was their foundation. And when it came to an end, they couldn't really discover and navigate who they really were, bro.
And that's crazy because both of y'all was able to pivot and today find a lane that you are successful in. I remember when I met you, you was ready to put the whole family on your back.
Yeah.
That you was going to the league.
Yeah.
Like that was like your thought process. It wasn't nothing, no backup plan. It wasn't nothing else. You was going. And then I can remember a time, talking to you like, man, I ain't playing ball no more. Like how did you navigate through that emotion that what you thought what you was gonna be able to do for your family, that wasn't gonna be your actual future?
I'll be honest with you, Jay. The people around me, just like such as yourself, for me, after ball was over for me, I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I was gonna do. After that ended for me, I went right to work. Flipping burgers. And it was tough, man. I spent a lot of nights crying, knowing that what I thought I was meant to do wasn't gonna be what I was gonna be doing in life. And you helped me pivot, and also the people around me that I looked up to as mentors helped me pivot. And it's tough to pivot when you don't have that community, when people around you, the family that you have saying, dang, you didn't make it, you didn't go to college, what's next, Instead of asking me what's next, you said, listen, Javonte, I know that's not what's gonna go on, let's find something else for you. And I went straight to flipping patties, but you sent me over, I remember just like it was yesterday, I was sitting in my truck, just got off of work. You sent me a personality exam out of the blue. I'm like, why is Jay sending me a personality exam, So I took it, I
just
sent
do
it
stuff
back.
like that.
Yeah,
I was just like randomly, like when I discovered like personality assessments, I was like, man, this is dope, man. I just sending them to other people. I'm like, man, take this. Let me see what type of person you really is.
No, and then that's exactly what you did. I mean, JT, it's 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, and I get a personality exam through a text.
Yeah.
But I take it, I send it back over to Jay. He's like, dude, I read over your assessment. This the personality that you need to be in the business of real estate, right? And I'm like, all right, man, I'm not doing nothing else at the time. I'm just flipping patties. Anything better than that,
Straight up.
So I go ahead, I get licensed. But after my first class, I actually start to fall in love with the business of real estate as a whole. But none of that would have been possible without having people like you in my corner, And I think it's tough when you don't have the people around you to build you up and let you know, hey, listen, that didn't work, but you're so much more than that, So it was my environment, for sure.
Facts.
Bro.
That's major because similar to you, I played ball and nobody couldn't have told me I wasn't going to be the next Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't have told me that that was my trajectory. I was going to the league in my mind. And I had my first kid at 14, you know what I'm saying? Freshman in high school, I got a kid on the way. And one of the things that as men and young boys we don't talk about is the emotional deterrence that trauma puts on our life.
Absolutely.
And most of the time we don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like I could look back as an adult and look at and pinpoint certain aspects of my life at that time and know that I was in a traumatic state.
Yeah.
So I remember I was telling my wife, I said, man, I actually put this in my book. I said, when I got to high school, I took for granted that I was just talented.
Yeah.
And because I had a kid on the way, I omitted all of the extra stuff that I should have been doing training-wise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm just good, but I ain't doing the extra stuff. I ain't going to the gym on Saturdays. I ain't shooting free throws after practice. I'm not running sprints after practice. I'm just doing the bare minimum because I'm like, I'm just playing ball. But deep down, I'm like, man, I really don't even have the time to put in what some of my peers was putting in.
Absolutely.
And I see a year, 2 years later, the dudes that I used to dominate, they passing me up. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, when you experience those type of traumatic experiences as men, that's the thing, is like as men, we are conditioned to just bottle it up and move on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, so what do you think that, what do you tell, those other young men, those other men about being able to navigate and pivot when you feeling the pressure of what you actually want to pursue, but you still got to be a brother, you still got to be a father, you still got to be a spouse, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you overcome that emotion?
Well, a lot of people say, man, pressure is a privilege, and I do believe that it is, but also understand, man, pressure can be like it can be a shaper or a shatterer, how I always look at it. It can shape your life. Adversity can build you up. I mean, that's what adversity is built for anyway, to strengthen you, build your character, give you endurance, give you hope for a future. But then when you have these responsibilities and when you have these things in your life that are too heavy for you to carry, like for instance, when you got, having a child at 14, 15 years old, around that range, like, bro, we don't know the first thing about being no man.
Right.
We don't know the first thing about being a father, right?
Especially if you didn't have an example
At
first. At first, so it's like you just
yeah.
repeating. You're just gonna repeat the cycle of what you see. That's all you do.
100%, bro. And I always say, man, it's kind of impossible to lead someone further than where you've been.
Exactly.
So if you didn't have that example, and then now at 14, 15 years old, you have the responsibility and the accountability of a father on your shoulders, that weight is too much for you to bench press because you haven't built yourself up for it. So, man, a lot of times what we see is, especially in black communities, like, we have these responsibilities very early on, and our minds ain't even shaped for it. We haven't even had the life experience to be able to withstand it, bro.
Yeah.
And I always believe when you have these responsibilities, when your responsibility becomes greater than the capacity that you have, that's when you see a lot of collapse, bro. And that's what we see a lot of times in the community.
Man, you know, that was why, another reason why my heart went out to Kyren Lacy so much, because you said it, I said it. The first thing that we think when we are in those spaces and we got the opportunities, like, man, we about to put the family on our back.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, that's not even supposed to be the role of a young man. You know what I'm saying? But you're so tired of being in a messed up situation, and you like, well, I got this, so that's what I'm looking to do. I want to put on for my family.
Yeah.
And man, I read a statistic that said 86% of athletes that go into that go D1 come from under the poverty line, come from an impoverished environment.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm gonna ask y'all, what was y'all thought process when NIL first hit the scene and NIL started becoming a thing?
I'll say this: I went to college, so I played D1 football at Kent State. So I went. My freshman year was 2008. So we had a spring semester in 2009, and I wrote a persuasive speech in a communication class on why I felt like athletes should get paid.
Yeah.
So I always felt like college athletes, they face the same injuries. Boys go through maybe even a more rigorous schedule because you got classes, you got ain't no off season, right? So you're constantly training throughout the season. I know they talk about off season, but ain't no off season. So I thought that, man, a lot of times when players leave collegiate ball, they face the same injuries as NFL players. So, man, get them boys some bread.
Right.
So when I first heard about the aspect and the concept of NIL, I ain't gonna lie, I was very excited for the young athletes to be able to get some compensation for what they do. But after I've seen it unfold, I do think it's a great vision, a great concept. But I do think there needs to be some more boundaries and some more parameters built around it, and I can share that a little bit later, bro. Yeah.
What you thought about it?
I thought it was great. For me, it was different reason because we get to have NCAA back, right? We get to experience the game again. And, you know, just like JT said, I feel like they go throughout the tougher season, tougher schedule. They showing up, whether it's class, practice, games. I mean, and a lot of people can say, which I think college football seems like they play a lot harder than the pros. I mean, because they're trying to get to where they are. They hit harder. I mean, they run a little faster. I mean, it's tough, you know. They're built tough, you know, because they're trying to. They hadn't had the luxury of riding around in a Rolls Royce for 3 to 5 years, you know. They trying to get to that point and provide for their families. If you don't mind, I want to go back to the Kyren Lacy situation, right? And his entire time in college, I hadn't heard about him getting into any trouble. I mean, seems like he's a great kid, right? But the moment that what he loved to do was taken away from him, the moment that you know, he was about to fall short for providing for his family, it all went downhill. And that's a tough battle, man. Especially when you think you're you're about to change the dynamic of your family, become the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And shortly after, you know, the draft was taken away from him. Shortly after,
Right.
he got into some more trouble and tragically took his life, you know.
Yeah.
And all of this in a matter of months, you know, after not hearing about him in any trouble, right?
Absolutely.
And it's a different battle, man. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a different battle.
It's
I mean,
crazy
it goes
'cause-
back to what we talked
Right.
about earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, when the foundation has been what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we know. Bro.
Yeah.
We can only go off what we
Right.
know and what we've been taught and what's been stewarded to us. So his foundation, and I'm just speculating from what I can see according to how we live, his foundation was in what he could do.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people sat down with Kyren Lacy, or none of them sat down with us, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then that's where it gets tough because the pressure comes down, and then now you got to try to figure out something, man, in the blink of an eye, bro. So I'm definitely with you on that.
But that's the coping mechanisms
It
that
is.
that we never really received
We
growing
don't.
up. So when NIL first hit the scene, I was worried. You
Yeah.
know, so I was concerned, and mainly because, you know, the sports industry at the end of the day is big business. It's corporation.
Correct.
So while I do agree that that the athletes should have been compensated, what I further agreed with was that they need some mechanisms in place to teach
100%.
these
100%.
boys on how to manage this money, because now
100%.
you're taking now you got millionaires becoming millionaires before they even see the field or before they even see the court, before they even get an NBA contract or NFL contract, right?
Yeah.
So with that same thought process, and then they're younger doing it.
Yeah.
So what happens if they do get hurt before they go to the league, or they stock drop and they lose this money? Are they going to have the coping skills to still persevere? You know what I'm saying? To still be resilient and to move on. So that was like I'm like, man, you know, and most of these boys are coming from, under the poverty line.
Yeah.
So they don't know nothing about managing no money. Their family don't know nothing about managing no money.
They don't.
You know what I'm saying? So when they actually get in those situations, and now they up.
Straight up.
They about to they putting the hood on their back.
Yeah.
And the moment that they crash,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, or something don't go the way that it should,
Yeah.
what resources are there to pick up the pieces?
Yeah.
And I feel, and again, that go back to the Kyren Lacy situation. I'm like, what resources was there for this man to help him pick up the pieces? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm like, where was the support for his mental state?
Yeah.
When that thing that he didn't have anymore was taken away for him to still maintain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, one of my biggest, and this is, I'm not somebody that try to stir up controversy, but one of the things that I've had like a focus theory on with the NCAA or whoever is responsible for the NILs is exactly what you said, man. I watched it. I've talked to former athletes. I mean, thousands of people for 4 or 5 years screaming their names, wearing their jerseys. So these people were not really taking advantage, but they were boosting them up for, as I call it, a secondary greatness, what they can do, their gifts, talents, and abilities.
Yeah.
But when hard times hit, adverse times hit, when they need people really in their lives, there's nobody to be found.
Yeah.
And man, that's one of my biggest issues with the NCAA is we care more about secondary greatness, which is great, your gifts, talents, and abilities, but nobody is focused on primary greatness. These boys' characters, their integrity, the value systems, the belief systems that they live on, man. And that's one of my biggest gripes with the NCAA is, man, we got the priority mixed up.
Right.
Man, be competent. Man, you got to show results in this world, bro.
Right.
I mean, even God, you know what I'm saying, demands fruit that comes from a person's life. But having fruit and having competence without having your character form is going to always be a recipe for destruction. So I challenge the NCAA. I challenge all of us, bro. When you see a very talented young man or young lady that's coming up, man, grab hold of them. Keep allowing them to understand, hey, man, be gifted, be talented, work on your game. But, man, let me show you how to be a better man and a better young lady. And I think that's what we need to get back to, bro.
But I think also to add to that, bro, like we have to kind of take ownership to say that the only thing that's really transferable is a value system.
100%.
Yeah.
You can't transfer wealth.
No, you can't.
You can't transfer a job. You can't transfer nothing that you have unless there's values coming down with that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can get the next generation could get some money from it. They can get an inheritance, but if values don't come with it,
don't.
that inheritance is gonna be lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta be more in tune in our community to say, Yeah, like you said, character,
Yeah.
the values,
Yeah.
building up on those things, because
Yeah.
if you do that, the money gonna come.
It's gonna come.
It's gonna follow that.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying?
Always come. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
No, I agree, Jay, and you know, to go off of what you said, it was the exact same way for my granddad. You know, he didn't leave me any money. He didn't leave us an inheritance, but he taught me how to work hard and how to have values and morals and go about it, you know, the right way. You know, and dude, I mean, just resilience. I think that was you know, something that I picked up from the most. You know, I've seen this man break down and, you know, have it all, lose it all, but still, you know, fight for his family because they depend on him, you know. And not only that, he was a great man, you know. And to go back to football, I transferred my senior year, right? I only played 3 games, right? But every practice, I showed up. I still practiced. I still dressed out for the games with my jersey on. Not because I had hope of getting in, but because I respect my teammates and I respect the coaches and I respect the time that they put in for me, right? And I believe, you know, in my people, you know, and that's why I showed up. But none of that happens without my granddad showing me how to respect the people that pour into me, you know. And I say all the time, I would go to his house and work all summer just to get $200 to purchase my school clothes, right? And, you know, obviously he could have done it, you know, just because he's my granddad, but he's like, listen, you're gonna get around me, I'm gonna steal some morals into you, and I'm gonna show you how to work for what you want. So for me, I mean, football was something that I love to do. I mean, I picked up on it at a young age. But more than that, I mean, I just love people, and that's why I showed up. And I mean, I felt I had a gift, and you know, but not only did I have a gift, I had the ability to correlate with people. You know.
Let me ask y'all this: what do y'all feel like is the most difficult thing for men to share internally, like things that we deal with? What do you feel like, if you could just package it into one word, what you feel like is the most difficult thing for us to share?
The unknown. You know, as men, we pride ourselves with knowledge, knowing. You never want to be caught off guard, slipping, as we say. So being in a place to where there's an opportunity for something that is unknown, or some knowledge or wisdom or understanding you don't have in the area, I believe that's something that we are not very comfortable with sharing. Man, I always teach and preach and even embody myself now that vulnerability, self-awareness, self-examination, but most importantly, humility, dog. And as long as we travel on this road in life, in your purpose and assignment, man, I wake up every single day, and what I knew the day before ain't enough for me to prosper in what I need to do, bro. So I'm always in a posture of like, man, being humble. Man, I don't know it all. And I don't claim to know it all. But man, I never give an excuse on why I'm not seeking knowledge and wisdom and understanding. So I do believe the fear of the unknown is one thing that we don't like to express, man.
Real. For myself, I would say emotion, and as men in general, right? Because we always taught boys don't cry, right? You know, always be strong for your siblings, always be strong for your loved ones. And it's tough, you know, you taught that at a young age. As you get older, you think, I have to seem like I have it together, you know, no matter what battles I'm fighting, you know, in my spirit, my flesh has to seem like, you know, it's all together. And I mean, just as men, man, it's just tough to express how you feeling and what you're going through with other men, because you feel like they won't understand you, because they appear to be tough, you know. It's like, how can I be the weak one amongst tough men? You know, it's like a sheep amongst wolves, you know. But man, I think as people in general, we all have problems. We all feel, you know, we life happens, you know, and that's the main thing. I think we should understand. Life happens, man. You know, if you, it takes a man to admit what you're feeling. It takes a man to ask for help, you know. It takes, not only that, it takes a human to say, listen, this is what I'm feeling. You know, you may not be able to help me, but let's talk about it. And I've learned that, man, talking about your issues, putting them out there, it makes them better, you know, because you're not sitting with them, you're not brushing them under the rug, and the more you brush under the rug, I mean, the explosion is huge, you know, when it comes out, you know.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, when it does comes out, people are like, what was wrong with this dude? You know, he seemed like he had it all together.
Yeah.
I mean, bruh, that poker face is a monster, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's crazy, you know. And for me, I would say fear. And you know, I've never really been one to give in to fear, but fear is only as strong as you allow it to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But as men, we're never supposed to submit or to succumb to that emotion. At least that's what society says. You're never supposed to act like that. You're scared of anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so I lost my son 2 years ago, and I can remember, you know, waking up months later and literally just not knowing which way I'm navigating. But not feeling, you know, I think I told my wife this later. I said during that time I felt like that I was going through grief twice. Like I experienced 2 deaths. You know, because at the same time I'm still a husband. I'm still a father to the kids that I have left. But how do you not still move on? You know, how do you not still get up every day and, you know, put one foot in front of the other and still move forward? So you as a man, you think that you don't really have time to grieve or to be sad or to be scared. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, all right, I can feel this for right now. For these couple of minutes or these couple of seconds, but we got to get back to it because I still got a wife, I still got kids, I still got business to handle, and we got to get on. We got to get on with it. You know, so I always say, like, you know, men, when it comes to fear, when it comes to grief, even if you're in a position to or in an environment where a space is made for you to feel that emotion, we don't know how to feel it. We legitimately don't know how to feel it because we're expected to move in a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
One thing that I learned, bruh, and it has been probably one of the biggest game changers and momentum shifters in my life, is I learned that in our community, bruh, as we grew up, we learned how to deal with the symptoms and not the root.
Exactly.
You know, you can mask up. I mean, I remember a story I was hearing one time where there was a person who really had a brain tumor, but it started off having headaches. And so they just kept popping aspirins because they just thought they had a headache. So what they were doing was treating the symptoms of it, not knowing that they actually had a whole brain tumor. Imagine if that person just keep taking Tylenol, Advil, thinking that it's a headache, the whole time the root cause of it is a tumor. And I believe, bro, as you just spoke, dog, just powerfully, like we love to deal with the symptoms, but man, we need to do surgery in our young black men and in men in general, but definitely for the conversation that we have in young black men, we love to just treat the symptoms, but man, you got to get down in the surgery, bro, and get down to the root cause of what is really going on, bro. And we've never been taught that. We hide a lot of stuff in the community. We got a lot of secretive things that's going on, and so we're not able to express ourselves, but even dive down into the deep things of what we're going through or the root cause to really even get further in life with it, bro.
It's definitely a code that we've been groomed to live by, but the problem is the code wasn't designed for us to be you know, successful.
Absolutely.
The code was designed for us to live right below the line of where we live.
Absolutely.
Is to attain enough to be comfortable, but not enough to be legacy. You feel what I'm saying? So the problem that I see in the black community is that we can't be legacy because, going back to what we just talked about, we haven't developed a value system to be passed down from 100%. Generation to generation. It ain't about the money, it's about the value and the character that we're putting into our household that can actually be carried over.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we here to uncode the code.
That's what it's
you know
about,
what I'm saying? It's like that's the way that we have to impart into our own and make sure that we understand, you know, for our generation, for the generations coming behind us, that, man, like, we got to get back to what the character of the human being is going to be.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Teaching the lessons that's hard.
Absolutely.
You know, like I was telling somebody that, you know, my daughter went to college last year, and it's a lot of things that, especially as parents, most of the time you want to give to your kids what you didn't have.
Yeah.
And if you have the means, it could be easy to do.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't require as much work or intentionality.
Yeah.
But it requires a lot of intentionality to digress and to say, no, I'm not just gonna buy you a car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you how to build your credit, and I'm gonna help you develop that situation to where now you actually can see the intricate pieces on how to actually buy a car.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And how to actually put the money to a certain place to where you can actually start to grow some investments to where you can sustain a life outside of college while you trying to figure out what you want to do. Because when you might get this degree, you might not want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just knowing from experience. So, but it takes intentionality as a parent to put those parameters in place when it's easy for you to just go drop a check if you can do it.
Yeah.
Just because, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I say a lot of times, man, morals and respect starts inside of the house, right? And a lot of us as black men grow up with that outside of our household because we don't have fathers, our mothers away at work. So we're taught to fend for ourselves and to raise ourselves, whether that's, you know, siblings raising each other, or we're being raised by our friends or the people in the street, you know?
Right.
So it's like when no one's there to teach you morals and respect, where do you get it from, right? The people who are already broken, right? So that creates cracks in your life and how you navigate throughout your life, right? And I mean, a lot of times as men, especially where we come from, right? Life teaches us because there's no one inside of the house to teach us, right? Where do we get our code from? The untold, like we're speaking about, the untold code. It comes from the streets, right? It comes from the guys that we look up to inside of the neighborhood, the guys that are selling drugs, the athletes, you know. And none of these guys speak about emotion or raw emotion or morals. The only thing we say, don't tell, you know.
Right.
And if they're telling me to not tell, why would I tell you what I'm feeling? Especially if I feel like I'm in the jungle, right? Why would I come to you and say, listen, man, my life just got turned off. I don't know how to feel, right? For me to become preyed up on, right? So it's like, man, if I want to live, I need to keep what I'm feeling inside and act like I got it together, because if not, I feel like, you know, y'all gonna start plotting on me, you know? So if it's not in your household, man, life starts to teach it to you, you know? So I think that's where it starts, man.
That's a rough place to be in, as you said, because that's why many of us grew up. Life teaching us. And you know how people say, man, I went to the school of hard knocks. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in this, I was raised by the stop sign, you know, all that stuff. And man, when I got older, bro, I started to realize that pain is a teacher. Life is a teacher, but that's not God's first method of wanting to teach. Wisdom is.
Exactly.
You know, and just like we just talking about, you've been mentioning all day, Javonte, like who you around, your circle, that matters. The Bible says, man, he who walks with the wise become wise, but when you associate with fools, it leads to death. And so you don't even have to be wise, just walking with the wise, they residue gonna come on you, bro. And these are things that we weren't taught. But we were taught to hang around, you know, man, those who dealt in the street, those who did this, and then our lives started to shape around how they were, bro. So man, I do believe that mentorship and wisdom is God's greatest way to teach. Pain can teach a person, but God don't want you to have to go through all this trauma and pain, because you got to understand, pain is a crossroad as well. Either it can turn into a poison or it can turn into your purpose. So everybody's pain don't really turn into a purposeful situation unless they allow it to. So man, you mentioned trauma earlier, bro. Like trauma it's like a cap on your mind, on your soul, bro, and it hinders you from moving forward in life. So we gotta get to the root, dog.
And even to touch on that, bro, like understanding how we have to prepare our spirit to even submit to wisdom.
100%.
Because one of the things as black boys and black men, we wasn't really taught how to receive from somebody. Like somebody could be giving us the guy, and I say this. I didn't have a mentor growing up. I got to a point to where when my pops left, I got to a point to where I conditioned myself to say I actually didn't need a man to tell me anything. I really felt like that until I got to in my 30s, and I had got with a mentor and was like, dang, like I really missed out on this whole time of my life. You know what I'm saying? But I conditioned myself to say, nah, you don't need that. You good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got your situation. You got the streets. You can figure this out on your own.
Yeah.
Which is wrong. Because you
bro.
can't figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
So I go back. I said, man, if I would have had somebody in my life trying to give me the game, I might have not still accepted it because I didn't even know how to receive it.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
That's real.
And it's like, so when I'm talking to these young dudes now, I'm like, I'm thinking about that. I'm like, even if they taking heed to what I'm saying, I'm like, it could be a point in their life where they like, man, I'm telling myself their spirit has to receive it to give them to lay their will down to say, man, nah, what he really giving is the game. Let me follow that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I talk about, man, the power of humility.
Yeah.
And people don't understand, man, in life, when you get older, you realize the way to go up is to go down, bro.
Yeah.
Facts.
Humility, man. God always talk
Facts,
about
boy.
the person who
Facts.
exalt themselves will be humble, but those who humble themselves will be exalted, bro.
Yeah.
So I can say, bro, we just been taught backwards.
Backwards,
Yeah.
bro.
We've been taught backwards, and you don't blame the OGs. You don't blame them, man, because that's what they were taught.
That's what they. Yeah.
But once we realize, man, that the things that we've been taught and conditioned into were wrong,
Yeah.
man, we gotta humble ourselves, bro. Admit that we were wrong, and then move forward and correct these situations and help condition the mindsets of the next generation in a better way with life principles, man, so that they can thrive and flourish.
Because
bro.
like you said, like the wisdom is the cheat code to life. I tell my children, I've been telling them that it's the cheat code to life. And if you really think, even like from the Bible, it's like Jesus really died for all our sins to omit us from having to go through certain things, right?
Go through it,
now
bro.
we can still take our own path, because we got, we have free will,
free will to do
so
it.
we can still take our own path. But it's like it'd be funny because I always think about my kids and then I think about Jesus, right? And I'm like, I'm like, look, I already made all the mistakes for you. I made every single mistake that you could possibly make. All you gotta do is just listen.
Yeah.
Just take the wisdom, so you ain't gotta make the mistake. And that's what the wisdom do. The wisdom just omits you from having to make the same mistake.
Man, I call wisdom and mentors human ibuprofen, human pain relief. Like that's what it is. Like you said, bro, you done went through the pain already.
Went through it.
The whole word of God is none but examples of people who done walked through pain.
Right.
Now, I would be personally a fool to do the exact same thing. And I tell the kids all the time, bro, we have the liberty to choose our choices.
Exactly.
Every person has the liberty to do that. But we don't have the liberty to choose the consequences.
Right.
So your situation may not play out the same way as somebody else who made the exact same choice. They may be able to live and tell about their consequences. That may be the end for you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So sharing that with the next generation, bro.
Because I said the same thing in a different. I said, you, not me.
Yeah, that's real.
You can't base your life on the things that I did and came out of, because you ain't built like me, for one. So you can't look at my life and say, well, you did this and you did that, and look how I'm like, you not me. And God might not give you the same grace because your purpose is different than what mine is.
100%, bro. 100%, bro.
You feel what I'm saying?
That's real,
no,
bro.
for sure. And I'll be honest. I was one of those knuckleheads, you know. Jay give me some advice, and I'm like, man, Jay, I hear what you're saying, man, but that won't happen to me.
He always knew better.
I'm like, Jay, man, I hear what you're saying, bro, but let me try it out. Let me touch the fire and see how hot it is, you know. Bro. And just like you said, sometimes, I mean, you don't have to learn by bumping your head, you know. Just take the advice that's given to you, and now I completely understand that, and that's the way I go about life, you know. And Jay, you know, he's been in positions that I've been in, and he's made it out of them to tell me the stories about them. At first, man, I'll be honest, I was like, man, Jay, I hear what you're saying, but let me try it out, you know. But now I completely understand what he's saying. He's like, dude, don't rewrite the will. Just listen to me. I'm giving you the game. Just accept it, you know. Now I'm like, man, now I have an open mind. So I'm like, Jay, you know what? I've been burnt too many times, bro. I'm hot. I'm patched up, you know. I think I'm out all the Band-Aids. So let me just go ahead and listen to you and make it happen. And once I took that initiative, I mean, it's it changes
Man, that's
the
why
entire
the Proverbs
trajectory of my life.
wisdom is
Yeah.
the principal thing, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It's the principal thing. So get it, and all you're getting understanding. But going back to your point where you talked about the wounds being patched up, man, we all have seen it in our own lives, but in our communities. What happens when pain don't cause you to change, though?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
Because you can have a lot of wounds,
Right.
and you can keep poking in the same wound
Right.
every single time, bro. And the wound ain't scabbing up, you know what I'm saying? It ain't healing.
Yeah.
And I've been like that in my life, and I know many people, bro. And that's a dangerous place to be in when pain, when trauma, when heartache, when it doesn't create transformation. Man, that's a tough place to be in, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
You become numb then.
Yeah.
And you think that's how your life's supposed to
Should
be.
be.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
Thank God I got it together.
Straight up. We
you
all.
know, for
Yes,
I
sir.
became too numb. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Straight up, bro.
Man, but nah, man, I appreciate y'all boys coming and sharing this wisdom, man.
Absolutely,
this this conversation. Before we wrap, if it's one thing that somebody coming behind you can grow from, what would you leave them with?
I'm gonna let you go first, young buck.
I'm gonna say y'all have an open mind, man. Take knowledge when it's given, especially from the people that's in positions that you want to be in, that's able to walk in rooms that you want to be in, and take it and hold on to it. Not everybody's trying to hurt you or steer you in the wrong direction. I know that's what we taught. While we listen to somebody that that's not in the position that we want to be in, but a lot of times people are trying to give you the knowledge because they've experienced it. And yeah, man, just listen to your mentors. Also, environment, the people that you keep around you, man. They start to shape your life, and hopefully that you can get out of this. If you are in a bad situation and have people around you, a lot of people don't make it out of those situations, so get around people that want to see you do better, man, and these people, these environments can change the trajectory of your life, back to the Kyren Lacy situation. Who knows who he had around him, right? Maybe he didn't have people around him saying, man, you greater than football, you bigger than that, you don't have to be in the league to be in these rooms, and for me, I had Jay and people like him around me telling me, listen, man, you're bigger than that. You can be in these rooms without actually, being on the roster, but not everybody has that, but swim with the sharks, you become one,
Absolutely,
for
bro.
sure.
It says, show me the 5 people you spend most of your time with. I'll show you your future.
100%, bro.
Man,
I back to the point, man. At first, also wanna just honor Kyren Lacy's family, man, and our condolences go out to his family. Just praying that they have an abundance of peace always and in every single circumstance. But one thing that I would always instill and I would speak to the next generation is win the private victory before the public victory. I think a lot of times, especially in the age of social media that we're in right now, the age of all the platforms, the brands, all the things that we have, which are great. But a lot of times what I see by meeting with people in my own life and seeing it, and you can see the collapse of people's lives, they have won a public victory. Everybody in social media liking, sharing everything that they have. But man, ask the people close to them who they are, and they haven't won that private victory yet. And not just even with the people around them, internally.
Yeah.
Man, if you win a public victory, bro, and you ain't winning within, I don't think you really winning. It's just a matter of time before it's gonna collapse. It's a facade. I think the state motto is something that I've been studying lately. The state motto of North Carolina is a Latin phrase called esse quam videre, and it means to be rather than to seem. And what I see now, man, we have mastered the art of seeming to be okay, seeming to be something.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. And I always tell, I said, don't fake it till you make it, just make it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to seem to be something, just become it.
Right.
What we've done in this microwave age, man, we tried to skip the process of becoming and then just went straight to seeming. And I think what that has done is just built a lot of public victories But then you see a lot of people crashing and burning because they haven't won the battle within, bro. So my encouragement, my edification, my charge to everybody, man, win the private victory, and then a byproduct of that, the public victory will come. And then, like you said, if the public says, hey man, we reject you, you know what I'm saying, for such and such, you've already won that private victory. So your life don't collapse and crash, because your talent can put you in rooms, but it's the private victory that's gonna keep you there.